Hey guys, it's Nemesis here, and today I'm going to show you how to remake the instrumental for Pinky Up by KATSEYE. So I'm not going to waste any time and I'm just going to get right into this. So the beat starts out with some percussion in the beginning. This is a splice sample, I don't have the name here, I didn't copy and paste it in, but these are the settings I have on it. I have a really strict noise gate on it right now with a space designer that looks like this, and so on its own it sounds like this. And make sure only in this part of the intro, well, actually no, not in only this part, in this part of the intro, make sure you cut it out on right here. You see this beat 4 where it's empty, make sure it's empty right there. And then this, you can find this sample in my samples and K-pop video. It's the one that's in Drip by Isna. Now, I don't think they used this for the actual song, but I just used it because it sounded similar, so. And then together. And then I also have this sample, this kick sample, to give it some kick and bounce to it as that percussion's going on. And then I have a stop to layer that off. And then in the second half of the intro, then the main kicks come in. I got the kick really bassy and hitting hard right here. And then I have this respace in Serum. This is gonna go throughout the whole song, so yeah. So I have I think I have 2 side chains. No, I don't. Okay, I'm a liar. So I have a side chain going on here, and then I have a riser, not a riser, but a low pass filter going like that, and then I have the EQ like this. There's some reverb on it. I'm not sure if there's actually reverb in the instrumental, but it's here in this. So all together, this part, the intro sounds like this. So yeah, now this part, this is basically just like this looped, like again here, like if I copy and paste this, hold on, like boom, this is basically what that is. And I kind of just input this MIDI because I did have it obviously, but I bounced it to an audio file, and when I bounced it to an audio file, I sidechained it with that, and I muffled it like that. But it's also kind of doing the same thing here, but just make this part 16 bars. And sometimes it won't really line up like where you need it to be, so sometimes the low pass filter will start like in the middle if you place it right here, so you have to like drag it like somewhere like over here to have it start normally, and then bounce that into an audio file and then drag it back to where it's supposed to be, kind of thing. Does that make sense? So this is the MIDI for that part. I'm gonna try to get every note because you can see it jumps octave a lot, so. Yeah. And then with the audio file itself sounds like this. So you can hear as like the song goes on, like the bass gets from muffled to more clear. That's the effect we're going for. I'm gonna mute this, and then the percussion's gonna get brought back, this one, but you're just going to, you're gonna like have the full thing now. You're not gonna cut out this last part here. So it's like that, and then bring back this kick, and then keep the main kick as well, of course. Yeah, and then take it out right here. Make sure the beat stops there, but the bass keeps going. And then when the beat comes back, you're gonna have these pluck things right here. So I have two. These are both audio files. So one is like a normal octave one, and one's a higher pitch octave. So the normal one sounds like this. And the higher pitch one is this. And basically on this audio file, I have a sidechain. I have a KHS transient shaper, and then I have Valhalla space modulator. And to get these notes and stuff, I basically just put an arpeggiator right here with that on this pluck in Serum that I have. And let me go to the effects, so in case you want to copy, the chain and stuff. There you go. Okay. So yeah, it's basically just these 4 notes, and it's arpeggiated using that. And I have a sidechain on it already with a bit crusher, this Pretty Princess sparkle, and a reverb. And the other one sounds like this. But I put it into an audio file because I thought it was like too harsh and I still wanted to modulate it. So that's why it's like this. Yeah. So that's gonna keep going as we add this stomp back in. And then, the bass is gonna keep rising. And that's basically that part. And then the bass switches up for the pre-chorus here. It becomes more melodic. And so I have 2 side chains on this with a little bit of enhancement on the low end. And these are the notes for the bass and the pre-chorus. And then underneath that, it's very subtle, but I have, here are the settings for it. I have chords going on there. This is the Serum preset I have. Yeah, these are the chords playing underneath it. So along with the bass, and the plucks are playing the same thing, but it's just like coming in bursts, as you see here. You see how it's like chopped up, like on the 3rd beat right here. That's all you have to do for that. And these are, I think, the same settings on the pluck. There, here is the preset, and this is what it sounds like together. Yeah, and then you just add this thing. It's just a little like vocal chop. I have a doubler on it with Somatics Origin, and I usually just choose an instrument. Recently I've been adding this to my production, but I've just been choosing one instrument to have this plugin on it because it adds that a very satisfying vinyl noise to the background of your song. Make sure to, you know, make it quieter like this. You see the level, and it's not all the way up here because no one wants to listen to vinyl just on, like, that's way louder than the song. So yeah, just have it subtle. Yeah, and then on the end, on the right before the chorus starts, make sure to give it like one last little measure here, like that. And then we go into the chorus, and the bass is very, very simple. You just play like basically the same note the whole thing. Yeah, and I have two basses layered here. Here's a side chain. I have a distortion on it, EQ, and a bit crusher. The second bass is more subby, so I have this side chain on it, little low enhancement, and it's like this. Same thing, and then layered together. Yeah, if you're ever going for a very specific sound for a bass, I'd recommend layering some basses together, although you have to be really strategic about it because sometimes it can sound messy if not done correctly, but if you do it correctly, it can make your bass sound very, very nice. And so, yeah, while that bass is going on, basically copy and paste the percussion from the intro you had. Yeah, and the stomps you have here, just copy and paste that into this techno kick. These are my EQ for that. So with the bass, it's like this. And then you're gonna add a hi-hat, open hi-hat in between. And then bring back the vocal chop. And then you're gonna have this pluck. I have a doubler on it, high enhancement with some space designer on it, and the pluck by itself sounds like this. Yeah, and then for the end part here, this last measure, I have a pluck here. I don't really know how to make this sound. It's a very unique sound, but this is what I used for it. Just going down like just this. yeah, so whole chorus is done basically, and it's like that. Now, if you saw my remake, you probably noticed that these were a part of it. But I have now learned recently that that is actually a vocal. That is a part of the acapella here. So, yeah, together, if it was with the vocal, it would be like this.
I bet it goes like this.
So yeah, it would be like that. And then the job for the second verse is the easiest job you could possibly do. It's just the main kick here. And this is all you have to do for the bass right here. Here's the MIDI for it. Yeah, I forgot. There's this thing. Yeah, basically the whole second verse is basically just that. And then this thing, the thing I just showed you here, you're going to layer that with this this hypersaw synth kind of thing. And so it'll be like that. So together with the bass. Like that. And I have a Reese added here again for some reason. So yeah, that's basically that part of the second verse, and then you kind of copy and paste the when the plucks come in on the verse here. Just copy and paste that, and then copy and paste the pre-chorus. And then when you get here, you're going to have I don't know why it says hi-hats, but you're gonna have the percussion, the one right here, and you're going to have this weird looking thing, low pass on it, with the EQ, and a phaser. And then you're gonna do the same thing, but with these hi-hats. And so together, it's like that. And then copy and paste the chorus. But then you're going to have this build-up going on. And then while that's going on, obviously you have a riser. So, and before this part, where is it? This thing? You're gonna take that out, okay? You're just gonna have 2 bars here of just build up. And then comes in the dance break part, and it's a little bit more stripped, you can see. So this thing, it's the same thing here, but I just made it louder clearly. And then have the techno kick and the vocal chop. And this is a splice sample from Dropgun Samples Hard Techno pack. You should find it. If you click on the splice pack, you should find it like within 10 seconds. But yeah. basically, then the bass is it's just one note the entire time. No stops or anything. And then the percussion, obviously. And that's basically that part. That's basically the end of the song. And that, guys, is how you make Pinky Up by KATSEYE. I hope you enjoyed it. If you stuck around for the whole 21 minutes, I applaud you and thank you very much. Hopefully I can, find some more songs to do tutorials of, but in the meantime, stay tuned for more videos. Thank you.